I am Hailstorm. Fear me.
9-year-old Quentin and 10-year-old Thomas have a lot in common.
I collect Legos, little small cars, and Transformers.
They both love Legos and they both love army type things, you know, video games.
And both are patients at St. Louis Children's Hospital waiting for a heart transplant.
Both these young gentlemen have had a pretty significant hospital course, a little bit different in terms of how they got to where they are.
We were on spring break 3 months ago, and he was just really tired all the time and just sleeping, and so we went to our local urgent care, which then they did a x-ray and an EKG, and he had an enlarged heart, and they said that we needed to come up to St. Louis Children's Hospital immediately.
And within days, they were seen by Dr. Peruz Egdasati, co-director of the Heart Center at St. Louis Children's Hospital.
In Quentin's case, it was more of what we call cardiomyopathy, so his heart was essentially damaged in the process from either his immune system or a virus, processes that frankly we still don't completely understand.
Thomas's situation was very different. He was born with a congenital heart defect that required open heart surgery when he was just 8 months old.
And they said that he would have to have a valve replacement because he had a leaky valve.
He had signs of heart failure. He'd had arrhythmias, and he had a pacemaker. His heart was huge.
Both of the boys' hearts were failing, and they were in need of a heart transplant, fast.
As that process proceeds and the child's situation deteriorates and they're in a worse place and they're going downhill, really the next best option that we have is using the Berlin heart.
Developed in Germany, the Berlin heart is a portable pumping device that is surgically implanted to support a child awaiting a heart transplant. The pumping mechanism sits outside the chest, while the implanted tubes carry blood into and out of the device.
This pump pumps the deoxygenated blood.
Quentin received his Berlin heart first and helped Thomas when doctors decided he needed one.
When he was told he was going to have it, he wasn't happy about it. So I suggested that Quentin come over and talk to him about it, his Berlin heart.
He had a few questions, but I answered them to where he wouldn't be afraid anymore.
And I think that gave Thomas a lot of hope. They ended up being buddies, sort of like in the trenches, if you will.
Because we are the Berlin Buddies.
As Thomas and Quentin's machines tick along, they get stronger while they wait for a real heart, and they give each other strength as well.
Okay, soon we need to aim up straight in there.
We sort of requested the rooms to be next to each other once we found Thomas was coming to the floor.
I mean, he's able to go next door and say, hey, Quentin, let's go down in the playroom and play, or let's go to the garden, or let's take a walk.
I think it's a reflection of where we are now compared to where we were 10, 15, 20 years ago. And that's one part of it, that they're alive and they can hang out with each other. They can sit there next to each other and play.
I'm sinking!
They can bond together. I mean, and it's just a very different experience that existed that didn't exist beforehand.
Unlike older support devices, patients have used the Berlin heart for up to a year while they wait for a new heart. The Berlin's portability helps build their endurance, increasing their chances for a successful transplant.
With the Berlin, you could get extubated and come off the breathing machine. You could get up and you can start walking, and for all practical purposes, start having as normal of a life as possible.
I told Thomas that he'd be like Iron Man, you know, like, because he got his Berlin heart.
He even said it the other day, you know, this has really saved my life, you know, Mom. And I said, yeah, it did.
So for Quentin and Thomas, it could be a long wait, but their new friendship has made waiting just a little bit easier.
Medal of Honor?
He even said it himself, you know, Quentin's my best friend for life. They're Berlin buddies. Pretty awesome.